Alright, so I'm gonna grade Monday Night Raw for tonight. We start off pretty hot with Kevin Owens calling out Rollins and the APA. They start to beat him up. Samoa Joe comes out. I'm a little surprised this was a quick segment. And when they told everybody to leave the building, we didn't hear anything else about it when it's kind of the hottest thing going on Raw right now. Going into, it's pretty cool. Charlotte went ahead and put herself in the Royal Rumble, before the end of the year. And then she had a match with Natty Neidhart, which they were tag team partners, like 2 months ago, and now they're opponents, whatever. Don't really get that, but okay. They haven't done a lot with the women's division on Raw. On SmackDown, I think they're finally starting to do some more things, but on Raw, it just, I don't know. The second half of 2019, I don't feel that the WWE has done a lot with their main roster women. SmackDown, Dana Brooke has been featured more lately in wrestling. Tonight did see the return of Liv Morgan. However, I didn't see her aligning herself with Rusev or having a lesbian angle about being in love with Lana. And, I mean, we all know wrestling weddings are totally full of it, but that was a little interesting. I think that Liv and Rusev are going to get together on screen, of course, because Lana and Rusev are actually still married, which we all pretty much know. Hopefully, Lana will. I know she's not the best wrestler, but I'm tired of her and Bobby Lashley kind of flaunting things and making Rusev kind of look like he got kicked to the curb and like a doormat. And I'm sorry, I think Liv is naturally more attractive, and she goes great with Rusev as a storyline, and that brings her back into the fold. We didn't have to wait forever for her to come back in, which was great. So for all the people that thought she was going to be Sister Abigail, sorry to break your hearts, but we had the Street Profits beat the OC, Gallows and Anderson, which is always a plus. And there's going to be a triple threat tag team match for the Raw tag team titles next week for the first Raw of the year. Between the Viking Raiders, the OC, and the Street Profits. Personally, I'd like to see the Raiders retain their titles because I think they're a really hot tag team. People love them, and they're just all around a good part of Raw to watch. Not saying that the Street Profits aren't, but they haven't proved themselves on the main roster. They're a comedy team. And then you look at Gallows and Anderson, who until AJ Styles got drafted back to Raw and were with them, were a joke. Sorry to say it, but they were. And that wasn't their fault, obviously, but and it was funny that AJ got kicked out at the beginning of the match for interference, and the Street Profits made fun of their name, the OC, from the Teeny Bopper TV show in the 2000s, starring Misha Barton, and they started singing, California and all that. And they beat Gallows and Anderson, who are quote unquote the best in the world, blah blah blah. Yeah, so they have some things that are going to be set up for 2020. The Aleister Black Buddy Murphy match did steal the show. It was, I mean, when on Raw do we hear "this is awesome" during a match anymore? I don't think that WWE is challenged enough on their main rosters to push a product that is worthy of getting 3 and 4 ratings. And that's why they've gotten the lowest ratings ever. I mean, we are at the end of the decade. And as I said, this show closed off with the Lana Lashley wedding. They did not, quote unquote, get kayfabe married. No kayfabe wedding ever goes the way it's supposed to, unless you count, the Triple H Stephanie McMahon Vegas incident back during the Attitude Era. Those are the main points of Raw that stood out, besides the Randy Orton AJ Styles incident where Randy came out basically saying he was all injured. And when AJ came out, being the long fan that I am, I absolutely knew something was up and that Randy probably wasn't really injured, and that turned out to be the case. But he did start to break our hearts a little bit by talking about Edge, and that reminded me of Rated RKO back in the day, so. But overall, I would grade Raw tonight about a B-. It was a better Raw than we've had most of, at least the second half of 2019. It didn't 100% focus on Lana and Lashley. I forgot that was even going to be at the end. I was disappointed that the opening segment with Owens, Samoa Joe versus Rollins and the AOP was over quickly, and they weren't on TV again. I do want to know who the third person is gonna have to be to. There's gotta be at least one more person to join up with Owens and Joe. And I've also heard rumors that there's gonna be even more members to the AOP Rollins faction. So we shall see here in the next decade, in the 2020s, what is going to happen. So, what did everybody else think about Raw tonight? I just went over a little brief synopsis of some of the main points I picked out of it. Would love to see your comments below, and I will reply to everybody that I possibly can.